Love this kind of terrain.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are in Oakridge, Oregon today, and we are going to be trying to do 3 shuttles. In the last video, we took a look at the awesome trails of Tiger Mountain in Issaquah, Washington. Our road trip continued with a drive down to Oakridge, Oregon for some shuttled runs. In today's video, we're going to be looking at probably Oakridge's most recognized trail, Alpine. While you can definitely pedal up to hit this, most people prefer to catch a shuttle up to the highest point on the trail, and from there enjoy the endless feeling of descending at high speed between the beautiful forest all the way back into town.
Okay, so this is Alpine Trail, and we had to climb a little bit off the shuttle drop point. Not really that much, like 5 or 6 minutes. And apparently we're almost at the point where the actual descending starts.
I want to make a quick note before we get to the good stuff. This trail has typical ridge-like characteristics. You'll be blasting down and eventually encounter a short climb before you keep on going down. While I'm not showing much of that in this video, if you're planning to come here and ride, you have to be aware of that. You'll be getting, according to Trailforks, about 1,200 feet of climbing with 4,500 feet of descending over 14 miles.
It's pretty narrow. My pedals have touched the wall a couple times by now. Not really that steep.
Alpine starts out on the mellow side. Smooth flowy turns with a few short sections that have rocks and roots, but it's by no means technical. In this case, I think this is a great start to the trail. You see, for me, the best part of this trail is that you get to go mind-numbingly fast later on.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Slippery. It's different dirt from Washington to here. It's much looser.
This start of the trail actually guides you into it, opening up little by little so you get used to the higher speeds at a comfortable pace. There's not really that much that you need to know from a navigational point of view. You'll be crossing over the main road a few times, but by looking for the trail visually, plus using Trailforks, there should be no going wrong. The only split in the trail that you have to look for is the one for Tiger Mountain, where it splits off if you want to do ATCA instead of just Alpine. As you can probably tell, this trail gets quite dusty when it's dry. The best way of dealing with the clouds of fine dust is to either follow closely enough that you get through before the cloud races to your face, or give lots of space so that it has time to settle. What you really don't want to do is to follow at a normal distance, because the cloud will find its way around your glasses and into your eyes. Not comfortable at all. Right after this section, there's a short climb that will lead to the most open part of the trail with some amazing views of the surrounding area. While there's more places where you'll be riding next to the steep hills, this short stretch is the only completely exposed section of the whole ride. It's a slow area where it's worth stopping to take some pictures and enjoy looking out into the distance over the countless ridges. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that snowy peak in the distance was one of the Three Sisters almost by Bend, Oregon, which is roughly around 80 miles away. Unfortunately for the views, it takes almost no time to get back into the woods. But no reason to be bummed about that. Starting from here is where the trail really opens up, and it becomes a playground for sustained high speeds. This is the closest you'll ever get to riding a speeder bike through the forest moon of Endor. Of course, minus the stormtroopers and their terrible aim.
Oh, a little slippery there. It's crazy how sometimes, well, not sometimes, in general, using your brakes can be such an issue. You just gotta let it go. Let the bike do its own thing. Thank you.
If you couldn't tell, that was one of the awesome members of the trail crew cutting down some fallen trees. We were later told that they did a hell of a cleanup this year as the winter months knocked down a bunch of trees over the trail. So thanks so much to the trail crew for making this place what it is. Despite all the high-speed fun, there are, however, a few spots where you want to keep your speed in check.
Love this kind of terrain.
As beautiful as it is, there's a bit more consequence to going off here. So if exposure messes with your head, dial it down a bit. The trail itself is not much more challenging here. It's just one of those things where the risk comes from knowing that there's not much to catch you if you do go off. If you listen carefully here, you'll be able to tell how the terrain varies with the sound of the interaction between the tires and the ground. This section ended up being the fastest point on the trail for me. According to Strava, the max speed was 38 miles per hour. And although that honestly sounds a little bit like a data error to me, going over 30 here is quite easily done. I feel there's a chance that this is the fastest I've ever gone on single track.
Quite steep.
At this point, there's a small section where the trail gets much steeper than the rest, and it starts to include some nice winding between the trees, as well as a few challenging switchbacks. Including this one, which caught me completely off guard. But it's not very long. Before you know it, the trail will return to its original design premise. A little while ago, I mentioned this trail optionally splitting off into ATCA, which stands for Alpine, Tire Mountain, Clover Patch, Alpine. As you probably got from the name, ATCA is an extension of this ride that you can do if you want to make this a big day, totaling roughly 24 miles and 4,000 to 5,000 feet of climbing. ATCA is a traditional loop if you're looking for a more backcountry full-day single ride kind of experience here.
So as we get to the bottom, I want to leave you with some thoughts on the trail. It's definitely worth doing this. A ton of fun. Just be aware that you will be climbing. This isn't one of those shuttles that's just all the way down. The climbing is not particularly bad in my opinion. Just plan around it.
So we were told it was better to just do Alpine,
so that you could catch the Lawler shuttle next and then do Hardesty in the afternoon. So try to do 3 shuttles in one day. So that's our plan. Can't really say much in regards to ATCA versus this because, well, we've not done ATCA. But just want to tell you what we were doing. So look out for the next videos because we're going to do Lawler and hopefully Hardesty if we make it in time to see if we can do a 3 shuttle day. Nice. Really good. Really, really good.
And so, this awesome trail comes to an end in the same spot that you caught the shuttle. Even if you're here just to do this one ride, visiting the tiny town of Oakridge is definitely worth it. At the bottom of the trail, there's a nice little pump track, which, first time I've seen this, has a little skinny in the middle. You can have your fun here before you go hit your next ride or go back home. Well guys, there we go. That is Alpine Trail in Oakridge, Oregon. I hope you had fun coming along. As I mentioned a little while ago, we are going to go catch a shuttle up to Lawler now. So if you want to see that, that's going to be next week's video. I will see you for the next one. Happy riding.